You'll need to learn to tie a nail knot for attaching the butt end of your leader to your fly line. A double uni knot so you can replace your tippet as it wears out. A double surgeon's knot for making loop-to-loop connections and for attaching your backing to the butt section of your fly line. And a non-slip mono loop for attaching the fly to the tippet. Here's a tippet tip. If you want to save a little money, you can buy these little spools of monofilament at Walmart for $1.16. First connection is tying your backing to your fly reel. You can basically use any knot you want for that. Most fly lines come with a welded loop on the butt section, the end that goes towards the reel. The double surgeon's loop is a good knot for this application. Leave this loop large enough so your fly reel will pass through it. This, if you decide to change lines, that makes life a whole lot easier. I like using a bimini twist in this spot, but it takes 3 hands to tie a bimini twist, and I'm trying to keep this simple for a beginner. Our next connection is to attach the leader to the end of the fly line. So you want to use a nail knot tool. They're inexpensive and they'll make your life a whole lot easier. Put your leader material right between those forks. Hold this with your thumb. Wrap your leader material around the tool about 6 times, 6 or 7. Pass the tag in, back through the middle. Keep pressure on this with your forefinger. Insert your fly line into the center of the wraps. With a quick pull, you pull that off of the tool. Now, sometimes this gets a little wonky, so you want to play with it and get nice wraps. Snug it down a little bit. I like to slide it out to the end of the fly line. Now you need to tighten this enough so that those wraps actually bite into the coating of the fly line. I wrap my leader around my hand, pair of pliers up here on the tag end. And you see it bit right in there. Trim that off nice and close. Trim the fly line nice and close. I put a little dab of crazy glue on there occasionally just to be safe. The double surgeon's loop is one of the easiest knots you'll ever tie. Double your line over, make an overhand knot. And go right back through with another overhand knot. Pull everything up nice and tight. And that is a really good, really strong loop knot. Trim off your tag end. This is good for making loop-to-loop connections. I rarely use a loop-to-loop connection, and I'll tell you why. If you make the loop-to-loop connection wrong, where this leader crosses over itself, that will cut. That's a cut point, and it'll cut and it'll fail. A loop-to-loop connection, when it's done right, looks like a figure 8 where the 2 loops are like holding on to each other. But one of the reasons I don't like a loop-to-loop connection is it catches a lot of wind. And if you don't do it right, it can act as a hinge and you won't get the proper presentation of the fly. I use the double uni knot to connect 2 different size lines together. I also use it to connect braid to mono, but in fly fishing, I use it to construct my own tapered leaders. Put the 2 lines together. And then you make a loop. And you wrap this one inside of the loop, capturing both lines. Depending on the diameter of your line is how many wraps you make. For this demonstration, I'm going to make about 5. Be sure and wet that before you cinch it down. You have a uni knot that'll hold this way. So now you need one that'll hold the other way. You wrap inside the loop, capturing both lines. And this line is thinner, so it needs more wraps. And yes, this takes a little practice. If you keep this end pinched between your thumb and your forefinger, you'll have better luck. Once again, be sure and wet that before you cinch it down. I'm pulling on both ends of the red one right now to tighten this down. Now I'm going to pull on both ends of the clear mono. I'm going to pull on both lines and bring those two uni knots together. I'm going to trim the tag ends. See, that's a good strong knot right there. And also, if you want, you can put a little dab of super glue on there. Won't hurt anything. I tie my own leaders, and this is what I would use for a 5 up to maybe an 8 weight, fishing for trout or panfish. This is 30-pound test, double uni knot with a little touch of crazy glue, down to 20-pound test, down to 15-pound test, down to 10-pound test, down to 6-pound test. And the 6-pound test operates as my tippet. Now, depending on what species I'm after, if I think I might hook into a bass, I'm going to stop at the 10-pound. If I'm fishing below the McAlpin Dam, where I might hook into a big striper, I'll stop at the 15-pound test. The non-slip mono loop knot. Tie an overhand knot in your leader. Thread your fly onto that. Switch hands. Put the tag in through the overhand knot. Come up here just like you're tying a clinch knot. Wrap the tag in around 3 or 4 times. 5 or 6, whatever you want to do. Pass this tag in back through the original overhand knot. Now what you want to do, and it takes a little practice, is you want this loop to be small. And clip off your tag in. If this loop is too big, if it's longer than the fly will come up here and foul into the loop. Here's a fly tied with an improved clinch knot. Here's a fly tied with a non-slip mono loop. You see the difference in the action? YouTube thinks you'll like this video. Let me know in the comments if they got it right.